Season 5 of award-winning Aging and Awesome is a production of the Nevada Senior Care Foundation, the A&A Media Group, and Consider It Done Productions, proudly presented by community stakeholders across Nevada and Senior Care Plus, the only Nevada-based not-for-profit Medicare Advantage plan serving Las Vegas Henderson, Reno Sparks, and more. Senior Care Plus, for the healthiest reasons.
Welcome to Aging and Awesome. Joe Della Ripa will be back next week. Woohoo! I'm Aaron Breen.
And I'm Kai Sisson. Today on the show, we show you the power of grandparents.
38,000 children in Nevada can't live at home with their parents. And the research is pretty clear that children are more likely to thrive when they are with their relatives. How a nonprofit is filling that gap, allowing for many grandparents to become foster parents.
Rock climbing is one of those sports that brings mind, body, and spirit together. George Crisay introduces us to an athletic retiree who is inspiring beginners to try climbing.
And our continuing coverage of seniors and the coronavirus, how the pandemic has forced all of us of all ages to take a real look at the inevitability of our own mortality.
Plus, of course, a spin in my cab, all that and more next on Aging and Awesome. Thinking about the incredible impact my grandparents had on me, this next story gets me really excited.
Well, helping keep children home in the family is the mission of a great nonprofit called Foster Kinship.
Now, the research is clear. Children do much better with family members when their parents can no longer care for them. And that's why Foster Kinship is filling the gap to ensure the many wonderful grandparents who are willing to fill that need are equipped to better their grandchild's life. Have a look.
Just like parenting doesn't have a book, being a grandparent and raising a kid doesn't have a book.
For Stacy Galka, raising her granddaughter has been one of the greatest joys of her life.
Give me a hug.
But also one of the greatest challenges.
So you really navigate a system out there on the women of prayer.
Becoming a foster parent is complicated, and the hoops and gaps for family members who step up and raise their family's children are even harder.
Traditional foster care or kinship care, the needs of the children are the same, but the resources available to kinship families are dramatically different than those available to traditional foster parents.
And that is where the nonprofit Foster Kinship is meeting the needs of thousands of children in Nevada who are being cared for by family members.
Traditional foster care system, foster parents are trained, they receive financial support, the children receive Medicaid. There's a lot of help, even though it's challenging for those foster parents. Kinship families, especially those who do it outside the foster care system, may not get any training, may not get any financial support, may not even have appropriate legal custody of the child. They might just have the child and are doing the very best to get them enrolled in school, take them to the doctor, keep them safe, pay for food, without the help of any benefits. And so Foster Kinship identifies all the help for those families and connects them to it.
Before starting Foster Kinship, Allison worked with children in traditional foster care and realized how difficult it is for family members to care for their own family.
4 siblings who had a horrific trauma. They saw their mom shot and murdered in front of them. You know, their dad was incarcerated, and they ended up at Child Haven, which is the place where children go here in Clark County where there's no one to take care of them. A great aunt stepped up and took all 4 kids, and for 6 months she was caring for them, and then she just financially couldn't do it anymore. So she reached out to the foster care system and asked for help, and they basically told her, after putting her through kind of a runaround, that sounds like you can't do this. we're going to take these children and put them in traditional foster care. And I was working with the kids and I just thought, that's outrageous. These kids need to stay together. They need to stay together, number one. And their aunt has been providing for them. And there is resources that if you had told her about it at the beginning, she wouldn't be at this point. And so that really just changed my entire life, because I thought, I'm going to invest in this family. And I, called everyone I know, like, can I have some money? I'm going to move her to a different house, get her these resources. And then I thought, why couldn't I be doing this for other families to sort of keep kids with their family? Why should these kids have to go to strangers after what they'd gone through, just because there was a lack of getting this aunt some help?
Through foster kinship, Allison and her team are doing an amazing service, uniquely meeting the needs of the many grandparents and other family members who want to stay together.
It's very rare that family isn't going to be the right place for a child. Grandparents especially have a really important bond with grandchildren, and the research on grandparenting is also very clear. We serve at any given month 300 families, providing them with services. And we have both Las Vegas and Reno offices, so we're getting inquiries from all parts of the state.
But now she's got toys.
As for Stacy, foster kinship provided everything she needed to become a licensed foster parent for her granddaughter, and even provides support groups, respite, and other supplies needed to raise her granddaughter the best she can.
I'm glad foster kinship has been here. It has definitely made this journey a lot more easier to navigate. I count on it all the time.
To get in touch with foster kinship, whether you are in northern or southern Nevada, you can call them at 702-546-9988 or visit our website, agingandawesome.com.
Having someone being able to direct you, give you some guidance, makes it a lot easier. Don't be scared. Make the phone call.
Still to come on Aging and Awesome.
Retired aged people are finding rock climbing to bring solace and spur new adventure. George Crozet is on top of the world to show us how.
And the reality of death is something that American culture just doesn't like to admit. But the pandemic has forced us all to come to grips with our own mortality. Eden Hospice is here to give us some insight into ways to address the inevitable in a positive way.
Don't move. We're going to take you to Club Green to reconvene in a short 90 seconds.
If you're 64 or 65 and newly eligible for Medicare, you only have a few months to enroll, or you may incur a late enrollment penalty. By understanding Medicare now, you'll have time to get a full picture of the choices that are right for you. Join experts from Senior Care Plus for a free ABCs of Medicare seminar to learn about Medicare and the options available to you. Sign up at seniorcareplus.com or call 775-982-3158 today.
If you're dealing with a serious illness or going through treatment, you don't have to do it alone. Infinity Hospice Care provides palliative care through Nevada Care Connect to help with symptom management, emotional support, and the care you need. Treatment can begin any time during an illness, during and after treatment, and all of it from the comfort of your home. Nevada Care Connect will work directly with your doctor and specialist to ensure the treatment you receive is exactly what you want. Learn more at nevadacareconnect.com.
Life is story. Pages of amazing adventure and narrow escapes. Bold steps taken, races run, chapters on love and hard lessons and new beginnings. Your life, your legacy, our privilege to serve. Morningstar Senior Living.
Hey, welcome back. In this pandemic, it seems all of the days kind of blend together, and I have found that it certainly helps to try and make a few things just special, so they don't seem so mundane. And believe it or not, I've been doing that with my morning coffee, and it helps. I mean, I'm gonna drink the coffee anyway, so why not make it a little bit more of an event than just a daily occurrence? Now, a friend of mine commented just the other day through a FaceTime call that it seemed like I had a pretty nice ritual going, so I thought I'd offer it up as a way to break up the monotony. Maybe you can do this too. So I don't have a coffee maker anymore. I gave it away when I moved to Ireland, never bought another one. So I make my coffee with the French press. But I'm usually the only one here. So it's plenty of coffee, and you know what? I can make it as strong as I want. Then instead of pouring it into a big mug like I used to, I've been using my mother's teacups. Ooh, aren't they cool? I have a lot more than this, but these are the ones that I really like, so I use them almost every day. And look at this, their little pitcher for the half and half. And then for no particular reason, just because it feels more elegant, I picked up a couple of teapots over at the thrift store. I just watched for them. Ooh, and check out this tray. Isn't that cool? You can put everything on it. It's got a world map on it. So you can just let your mind drift about finer times and all your travels. So these days, instead of a big old mug of coffee, I have a couple of little teacups of it instead. And you know what? It all fits right here on my desk, which is great. And this little teapot, it keeps us as hot as the French press, at least that carafe would. Well, I do go out maybe 1 or 2 days a month shooting stories. Most of my work is actually done and all my meetings right here from my desk. I even teach classes right here at my desk. And this way, I do feel like at least I'm making a kind of a special start to the day, opening it up to possibilities. Heck, sometimes the little things like this can make a pretty big difference in your outlook. For Aging and Awesome, I'm Erin Breen.
Thinking about moving or downsizing? You should meet my good friend, Marsha Rambo, with Realty One Group Eminence. With over 30 years experience, if you're looking for a home that better fits your lifestyle, call Marsha today and tell her Joe sent you.
Even with more than 1 million people cared for by hospice each year, the decision to call hospice is never easy. However, at Infinity Hospice Care, many families tell us they wish they would have contacted us sooner. And with hospice being covered by Medicare and most insurance, the decision to get your loved ones the help they need is even easier. Plus, the registered nurses at Infinity Hospice Care are available 24/7. To learn if we can help, go to infinityhospicecare.com.
Customized coverage for your healthcare needs. Your Insurance Agency, serving Nevada seniors for over 50 years. Your Insurance Agency offers all Medicare plans. You need a plan as unique as you are. Your Insurance Agency has agents across Nevada. Call 775-209-1010.
I thought there was nothing people could do about scams until I found Better Business Bureau's Scam Tracker website. There, I learned about scams in my area.
I lost a lot of money.
And I shared my story too. I was offered an online work-from-home job. I spent all this money on course training materials, but there was no job. So be careful.
Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. Better Business Bureau. Start with trust.
Living at Lakeside Manor, an independent senior living community in the heart of Reno, means pleasure for the residents and peace of mind for their families. Rooms are available now, starting at $15.30 a month. Take a tour of Lakeside Manor today. For nearly 30 years, Michelson & Associates has been protecting Nevada families and their legacies, specializing in elder law, including estate planning, contested estates, guardianship, probate, Medicaid, and VA pension benefits. Their goal is to protect seniors from exploitation and to build, protect, and sustain family relationships and property. The Michelson team stands ready to evaluate your needs, recommend the best course of action, and provide second-to-none service every time. Call Michelson & Associates today.
At Intermountain Healthcare, you get the same healthcare partners, caregivers you know and trust, but you also get more. More nationally renowned specialists to serve you. More holistic care, including preventive care and mental health. More technology options to simplify and improve your care experience. What does getting more mean? A healthier, stronger you and healthier, stronger communities. Because all of us are better together.
Welcome back to Aging and Awesome. Today I have quite the adventure for you. Today we're at Mesa Rim here in Reno for some indoor climbing. It kind of simulates being outdoor on the rocks, but you're indoor and you got plenty of instruction and great people, and if you don't have equipment, they have that for you too. Let's go inside and do some climbing. Here we go.
Everybody is extremely supportive. Even though we're some of the oldest ones that are climbing, myself and Mick, who's just turned 65, who's my belay partner, they're extremely supportive.
We have a huge age range here. We have kids as young as 2 or 3, and then everyone up to your age, George, and probably older.
Thank you for that, and probably older part. And if you don't know anything about climbing, staff is more than willing to show you everything you know.
Absolutely. And
they're willing to show you the ropes.
They're da-dun-da-dun-dun. No.
So when you have a new client comes in who's never climbed before, where do you start? Because I'm going to imagine it's not up there.
No, generally not. Most people that come in, if they've never climbed before, will try bouldering, which are smaller walls down over here. You don't need a rope for that.
Climbing is one of those sports that, I mean, it makes you think, but when you're done with a day of climbing, it's gotten to your soul, hasn't it? Because it is such an individual accomplishment that when you climb here, and let's say you just start and you climb for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden the third week, you start reaching pinnacles of the climbing that you thought you couldn't do. And your self-worth and feeling good about that day are just tremendous from climbing, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, it's also a really good workout too. You don't realize it because it's so fun.
So you haven't been climbing for a few months.
Right.
But now you decided it's time to come back. What happened in your life that changed that?
Well, last year was a difficult year in that in July, my 97-year-old father died, and then in December, my husband died. So I took all that time off to regroup, and now I'm getting back into it.
So why are you coming back to climbing? What?
Because it eases my mind, relaxes me, and it makes me have a different focus, so that I have to focus on what I'm doing and not all the extraneous stuff that's happened in my life. So
what a great program to help release all those anxieties and tensions.
Absolutely.
For you to get away from the losses,
Mm-hmm.
to come out here and do something that's away from that. Do you think this would be good for other folks who have difficulties in life right now to come to Mesa Rim and just start climbing, getting into something?
I do, because you have it's just a different venue. It takes you away from those 4 walls and brings you into some place where you really have to focus on something else other than all the things that have happened to you.
Wow, what a fun day here at Mesa Rim at the indoor climbing gym. It's a great opportunity for you to get out, come on down to Mesa Rim, get some climbing in, and the only thing we're missing here is you.
Thank you, George. Now to our continuing coverage of seniors and the coronavirus. I know this is a topic that might seem a little strange to talk about on a TV show, but the pandemic has forced all people of all ages to look at the inevitability of death a little differently.
Our friends over at Eden Hospice sat down with Kai to explain some of the healthy ways to process the reality of our own mortality.
Joining us now is Sean O'Reilly. He's with Eden Hospice. Sean, thanks so much for coming on the show to talk about something a lot of us don't ever want to talk about. But my question for you is, why is talking about accepting death something that can be healthy and whole?
Yeah, we find as chaplains and social workers in hospice, it's something that some families, some patients have had a hard time talking about. But when we accept it, when we say, this is the journey that I'm on now, it's part of the rest of my life, there is a wholeness that comes. There's a way to be healthy and to still be dying. It doesn't mean that life is immediately over. And so what we say is, what if we find healthy ways to be in the days that are left? And that kind of conversation can be really freeing, can be really important. And it's for patients and also all their loved ones to say, here's how we want to move forward through each of the rest of the hurdles that are for us and in the days that we have to live meaningfully.
And psychologically, I think it's been so taboo and untalked about by people, younger people as well. Why should we as human beings in general accept our mortality as early as possible?
Well, yeah, like you said, it's something that we avoid, and different cultures handle it differently, right? But our American culture in the last few hundred years has said, let's put that off as late as possible to even mention. When it comes to hospice, the research shows the more that we are able to own that journey when the time is right for us to look at our death, we have a healthy and less physical suffering in our death when we have approached it in a whole way. And so as a society, as we talk about it, like with COVID-19 and the pandemic, if that's been something that people are saying, this is really surprising, it makes me look at my life differently, that can be startling, and it can be important and healthy too, not just at this time, but moving forward. Like after this pandemic, when we survive it together, how do we keep carrying each other in honest ways that open us to a healthy process of like, grief doesn't have to be something that one person carries and hides in shadows. But when it's brought to the light and we know we process this together, I've thought about that, like we're living through the pandemic together. How do we also carry each other's stories of death and dying and grief and remembrance?
That's one of the biggest things I've learned from not just in my own personal life, but people that are my age, that 2020 has been that year of really reflecting. What are some things we can reflect on in the last year and take into 2021, accepting our mortality and finding our own journey? Sean, what do you think about that?
Something that has been interesting in the pandemic has been like on social media, people have sometimes found ways to say, here's what I need. I had a really rough week. Or here's what got me through the past tough month, right? And those stories have always been part of the end of life journey. How are you dealing with this? Where do you find meaning? And how can you express what you struggle with? As we do that throughout our lives, it's a healthy experience, and we have agency and ownership to say, I value these things in my life and at end of life. Here's what I want. Here's what's meaningful and beautiful for me as I live and as I die.
Sean, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Sean O'Reilly, chaplain for Eden Hospice. You're welcome back anytime. Thank you.
Thanks.
Still to come on Aging and Awesome, Kai is buzzing all around town in his cab. With this next contestant, will they win? Find out after this short break.
Spanning Northwest Nevada, the independent, assisted, and memory care communities of Fernley Estates, Mountain Lake Estates, Summit Estates, and Carson Valley Senior Living. Caring people, serving people, improving lives. Take a tour of these fantastic communities today. Looking for a fun way to connect with others by phone or online? Join the Nest Collaborative. Volunteers provide free one-to-one and small group social opportunities and technology assistance for older adults. Call 682-8641 to get connected. GI Consultants' highest priority is patient safety, with screening and infection control measures to keep our community safe, utilizing telemedicine services, allowing patients to visit with a provider from the comfort and safety of their home. For the best gastrointestinal and liver care, choose GI Consultants. Eden Home Health is Northern Nevada's highest-rated home health for quality of patient care. You have a choice. Ask your doctor for the best in-home health care, Eden Home Health. And Eden Hospice. The personalized care team at Eden Hospice is dedicated to focusing on your loved one's quality of life during a difficult time. Eden Hospice's mission is to ensure dignity for every patient. Find out how Eden Hospice can help your family by calling 841-6123.
Hi folks, Ron Ford for Sierra Air. We live in an area with extreme seasons. We understand that when your furnace quits in the middle of a blizzard or your air conditioning system breaks down on the hottest day of summer, it's not only inconvenient, it can be a real emergency. That's why we're here whenever you need us. We have expert technicians available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to make sure you and your family stay safe and comfortable. To learn more, give us a call or visit sierraair.com.
Sierra Air.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Wow, what a day today here at Morningstar Senior Living in Sparks, where we have a contestant in the cab who has been wanting to play for a long time. Who is it today?
My name is Ed Williams.
Ed Williams, welcome.
Thank you.
No, you've been wanting to play for a while. We've met before.
Yeah, I talked to you up front of the facility one day.
And I told you we ask trivia questions and give away prizes, right?
I didn't realize that.
I believe you said, I want some free stuff.
I just thought it'd be neat to be on TV.
Well, I'm so glad that you are on TV today, sir, here on Aging and Awesome. And today we're giving away a special prize. You know what it is?
Don't have any idea.
Well, today we're giving away a Roku player. Get 3 out of 4 questions right today, Ed, and you win, all right?
Okay.
Here we go, your first question. Despite not having won a Super Bowl since 1996, what NFL franchise is still nicknamed America's team? Is it A, the San Francisco 49ers, B, the Arizona Cardinals, C, the Green Bay Packers, or D, the Dallas Cowboys?
I'm not a sports person, but I'd guess the Niners.
of San Francisco 49ers. Ed, oh, that's not correct. It's the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. That's okay, you can get one question wrong. You got to get the next 3 right. Ed, here's your question number 2. In 2016, JetBlue became the first U.S. commercial airline in 55 years to fly to what island nation? A, Cuba, B, Haiti, C, Papua New Guinea, or D, Jamaica?
Well, I would say Cuba.
Cuba, that is correct. You ever been to Cuba, Ed?
Nope.
No, ever think you'll ever go?
No, not at my age. I would be happy if I could do New Orleans again before I die.
I love New Orleans. I agree. That's a great place. Well, good, Ed. You got 1 right, 1 wrong. You got to get the next 2 right. Here we go. Question number 3. According to its tagline, Capital One wants to know what's in your what? A, pocket, B, bank, or C, wallet?
Pocket.
Pocket. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Ed, oh, it's what's in your wallet. Well, Ed, you know, it was fun to see you, fun to have you in the cab. You said you wanted to be on TV. Here's your chance. What do you want to say to the world?
Well, getting old, it isn't for sissies.
Getting old isn't for sissies. That is a good thing to say and very true. Thank you, Ed, so much for playing. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching Aging and Awesome, our challenge for you this week.
I know what you're thinking. Watching George swing 50+ feet up in the air, maybe a little bit too much. But what can you do this week that takes you even just slightly a little bit out of your comfort zone? Think a little smaller and maybe safer than George. Maybe it's mending a broken relationship, or maybe finishing an old project, or maybe just doing something that you've never done before but want to try, rock climbing, or maybe just taking a walk on a new route. Whatever it may be, set a goal, make a plan, and accomplish it this week.
Want to win a Roku streaming player for your TV? Oh, I know you do. We're giving them away. Head to our website, agingandawesome.com, and click the subscribe to our newsletter link to get weekly updates on what's coming up on the show and other ways to stay aging and awesome. Each month, we'll give 1 lucky subscriber a brand new Roku streaming player. And remember, you can watch the show anytime and anywhere on Roku, Amazon, and Apple. Just search Aging and Awesome to download our app.
Aging and Awesome is made possible each week by community stakeholders who are worthy of your patronage as they better the lives of seniors and their families every day by what they do for older Nevadans. A big thank you to
Senior Care Plus,
Eden Home Health and Hospice,
the Better Business Bureau,
Marsha Rambeau with Realty One Group Eminence,
Morningstar Senior Living of Sparks,
your insurance agency,
Michelson and Associates,
Infinity Hospice Care,
Intermountain Healthcare,
Sierra Air,
Mountain Lakes Estates, Fernley Estates, Summit Estates, and Carson Valley Senior Living,
The Nest Collaborative,
GI Consultants,
and Lakeside Manor.
We love you so much. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Bye.
1, 2, 3. Listen.